Joining us now, Dr. Robert Sanders, a senior lecturer of national security with the University of New Haven. Dr. Sanders, thank you so much for being with us.
Glad to be with you.
So we have learned a lot about this in the last 24 hours. There was a lot of concern. World leaders, though, now saying this was not an attack on a NATO country. This missile did not come from Russia.
Yes, so there's an ability to track the trajectory of weapons when they're fired in a particular direction. And initially, the intelligence must have been so that the president was able to say, I have looked at what the trajectory of this missile was, and it wasn't from Russia. And as a result of that, the United States and our NATO allies came to some early conclusions that it was probably not a Russian missile. And oh, by the way, the Russians and Ukrainians have some of the same systems, so it could have been Ukrainian as well.
How does this impact overall the war in Ukraine?
Well, first point is they did the right thing, which is they went to not general quarters, but to a meeting under Article 4 to discuss what was going on before you get to Article 5. Now, let's remember back in 9/11, when we were attacked, there was an Article 4 meeting and then an Article 5 resolution that allowed our NATO member countries, allies, to go fight with us in Afghanistan. How does this affect that? That stays in place. Those procedures continue to exist. Article 4 meeting happened yesterday. Article 5 resolution didn't happen because at the Article 4 meeting, the intel concluded that it wasn't a Russian missile that caused an attack, a deliberate attack on a NATO nation. How does that help us going forward? Well, that status remains the same. We know the system works to a certain level, and that the Ukrainians know that we're still in it on their side, and the Russians understand that as well.
Doctor, this really caused a lot of concern yesterday for obvious reasons. If Russia had indeed sent that missile that landed over to Poland as a NATO country, we could be in a very different situation right now.
We exactly would be in a very different situation right now because a deliberate attack under Article 5 of the NATO treaty would cause all the other NATO nations, the 30 other NATO nations across Europe and the United States, to say a deliberate attack on one is a deliberate attack on all. And we could be in a 9/11 scenario where now all come together to defend the one that was attacked.
Your insight and expertise, always appreciated. Thank you so much, Dr. Robert Sanders with the University of New Haven. We appreciate it.
And my students in the national security law class behind me, I'm going to slide over so that parents can see them. And wave, guys.
Say hi, everybody.
Oh, you have a wonderful professor, that's for sure.
Glad to be with you guys.
Thank you so much again.